Welcome back to Fantasy Bricks and welcome to episode 8 of Building Erebor. First off, a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting me in the comments section below and also on Instagram and Facebook. To start things off, we'll get into a time-lapse of me extending the rock face, then I'm going to be unboxing and sorting some parts for the MOC. Then we'll get into a time-lapse of me adjusting the dwarf statue and also rebuilding the frozen waterfall before finishing out with a cinematic edit of the MOC so far. So, let's get into all that and more right now, guys. So here I'm using Duplo as filler brick, and I found that it's actually a little bit cheaper than using the normal bricks, as you'll be surprised how far one Duplo brick goes. However, I did run into problems when I found that the stacks didn't line up with the rock face, and I was spending ages trying to figure out what it was. At first I thought it was that my tables weren't level, as my table's actually made up of 4 IKEA tables, so I thought that maybe one was slightly taller than the other. So I sorted out that, I spent like an hour doing that, and then I realised that wasn't the problem. So I had a look at the bricks and I realised that some of them were actually non-Lego Duplo parts, and that was the problem all along. So a bit of a learning curve there just to check that it is definitely all Lego. And it's another reason why you should just always use proper Lego, because otherwise you might run into problems like that and end up regretting not just spending a little bit more. So you may have noticed that the section closest to the camera is jutting out slightly, and that's because this bit here is going to be where Azog is going to stand surveying the battlefield. So now we're going to get into an unboxing of some parts for the build. So here we've got some brown, tan and green bricks, and I got these off a Lego Facebook group, and I got them for £42 including postage and fees, which isn't too bad really, and I definitely found that that is the cheapest way to get bulk parts, as buying all these parts on Bricklink would have been, I don't know, maybe 5 times the cost at least. I'll probably only end up using the dark red and the dark tan parts in this actual build, but these are the colours that I use in basically all of my builds, so whenever I see an opportunity to buy them for a good price in bulk, I always leap on it and make sure I get them. Someone commented asking if I could do a room tour and also a parts collection and explain how I sort my parts. So I think I'll definitely get around to doing that, and then I can properly explain in depth how I sort my parts by bricks, plates and slopes. And I make sure that I sort these colours a lot more than my other colours, as like I said, I use these in almost every MOC. Instead of tipping out a big box of parts onto the floor, instead what I do is use a sheet or a blanket, and then at the end you can just pick it up and plonk it back in the box. I'll tell you, when I first found out this, I actually lost my mind, but it makes such a difference. Instead, you don't have to be spending ages clearing up all the little parts. You can just wrap it all up at the end, plonk it straight back in the box. So here I'm modifying the dwarf's head, and I think it does look a little bit better than last week, but I'm still not 100% happy with it, but I'm not sure what else I can do. And it probably doesn't help that I've completely ran out of sand green 1x2s. Here I'm building another section of Erebor, but I don't think this bit's going to make it into the final MOC, as I just think it looks a little bit repetitive. And I've already got 2 sets of arches which look very similar below it. I decided to rebuild the frozen waterfall, as I wasn't happy with the initial design, but I feel like this looks a lot more natural and I'm a lot happier with this version. I wanted these 2 sections to be identical, and that actually turned out to be harder than I thought it would be. I managed it in the end, and now these are actually quite stable, but as I was building them it was very hard to kind of keep them together. This is where Thorin and Azog are going to have their final duel to the death. So now we're going to get into a cinematic edit of the MOC so far. Thanks for watching episode 8 of Building Erebor. Next week I want to get the rest of the rock face up to the same height. The best way to watch this series is to head up to the playlist section on my channel, and there you can find a Building Erebor playlist and also all my other build series as well. This week I'm going to be shouting out Mando Productions, who's got some awesome mocks and also some stock frame animations on his channel for you guys to check out. And I also want to shout out Brody D, who even though he doesn't have actual Hobbit minifigures, he's been really creative with some custom parts and made his own. If any of you guys have got a channel and would like a shout out in a future episode, then just comment down below and I can make that happen. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.